we smoking and drinking. You thought it was cool. I need something else to smoke and drink so we can be cool again. And that's what's happening. And so when you speak about like, it's a message, everybody getting this message, and we becoming that message. So if you give us a positive message, and that positivity resonates within ourselves, then we can become that as well. And that message too can be perpetuated.
But it's like, and they kept saying, well, why you keep, this people, my friend, the family in Chicago, and they was like, why you keep going down south? Why you keep going to Charleston? But I didn't realize it, just like Tommy had said, all the love was down here. I didn't see that type of love at home. In Chicago, you might see a person at the gas pump and might have words with him or whatever, get in an altercation. You might never see that person again in your life. Because he lived on the west side of Chicago, we stay on the south side of Chicago. But when I got down here and I seen all the love, how everybody was getting together, like all up at Lincoln School, I was looking around like, man, you can't do this at home. You can't win. You can't. If 5 or 6 people get together in Chicago, something to happen. The same, Tony was right, it's the same way. So it was like when I came down here and I seen that love, that what kept bringing me back to Charleston. My grandfather, he stayed here. My grandfather, Mr. Eugene Scott, and we going down to see Granddaddy. We want to see our granddaddy, but we want to see the town. We want to be it was love, everybody waving. Ain't nobody waving at you in Chicago. Ain't nobody, people laying down on the floor, and walking out the liquor store, people stepping up over them and begging for money. Down here it's different. Everybody helping. You can go to your neighbor, hey, I ain't got nothing to eat. They bring you out a pack of real. Person in Chicago ain't gonna bring you nothing. He gonna bring you some drugs or a drink. Y'all got a drink for you, bro. He not gonna bring you no food. We ain't seen that type of love until we came here. And we came here. That's why I keep coming back and being here. I came down here to live with, I came back down for the love, but it's like the love is gone. They gotta bring the love back to the town. It really, for real, there's a lot of stuff here. It's really, for really a goal now as far as, bringing business and stuff. There's so many business ideas that can be brought to this town, but won't nobody get together and do it. This person just like him, he had problems with him 5 years ago, and it's like people won't come together. But we all can come together. I mean, I'm willing, as far as the business-wise, I know how to cook very good. For all these young sisters around that don't know how to cook, man, we start a culinary arts class, and I teach them how to cook. You know what I mean? So I'm willing to help. I'm here. I'm gonna help. Believe me, I'm here.
Something that was said, that everybody's saying, that's really pertinent to me. It's a saying that we've heard our whole life. When people say, have problems with each other or something, and they say, well, what they worry about me for? They need to clean their own backyard up. That's what we got as a community. We don't need to worry about anybody else coming in and helping us when we can help ourselves. We can clean our own backyard up and take care of, we know the issues, we know the problems, we all here, we all African American, Black. We know what happens in our neighborhoods. We know the politics of our neighborhoods. We know the interactions of our neighborhoods. Like Tommy said, you don't have to snitch or tell, but we know what go on. And we know how to get at the issues at hand. The church and the streets is separated because the streets is tired of hearing what the church got to say, and the church is not listening to what the streets got to say. That's how the streets feel. But we need to come together to get the problem solved, because the church can't do it by itself and the streets can't do it by itself. We have to come together and get it together. And how we come together is listening to each other. The church got to hear what the streets say just as well as the streets got to hear what the church say. We got to have an open dialogue with each other. Like Pastor Beth said, we don't have to agree with each other. We're not going to agree with each other. Everything is not going to be yes, yes, agreeable, agreeable. But the dialogue has to be open to where our ears is hearing what each other is saying. without getting upset, without taking it somewhere they don't have to go, and listen. Everybody wants to be heard just like everybody wants to be listened. Everybody has something to say. It's tiresome. Waking up, this last homicide, I told a couple of people, I said, man, I really got immune to it, used to it, you know, waking up Sunday morning, somebody got killed at the club, out in the streets. It got to a point to where it's the norm now, instead of surprising. But this last one, the last one was, that did something, that hurt it. I felt that. I really, really felt that. A couple of us that got kids that have been killed in these streets. I for one, he for another. You got kids in these streets that's out here. It's not, I told somebody the other day, I said, I think I told Fred, I said when we was 20, 22, 23, 24, we didn't look 20 years ahead to see what the things that we was creating, the chaos that we was making, that it would come back to affect our children. We didn't think that far. Just like these kids not thinking that far. They only thinking about what's going on right now, just like we did. Thought about what was going on right now. If I would have been 20 years ago, knew that the things I was doing could create an environment for my own seed to get killed, you think I would have kept doing that? The thing is though, when I was in prison, it was an old head there, he said, you know what, Red? You soak it up like a sponge. Meaning I would listen. I would listen to what they were saying. These kids don't listen. Because what we're saying must not hit them. Sometimes you got to get to their level to reach where they at. And I feel sometimes we don't want to go down to their level to reach where they at. But in order to get them to get where we at, we have to go where they at. And if you're scared to go where they at, don't stay right here. Because you have to go where they at in order to get where in order to even get a half understanding of what they're going through. Because evidently they think they're doing something right, or they wouldn't keep doing it. Evidently they think they're doing something that's going to get them somewhere they want to go, even though they see everybody fall around. Do you think any of them kids or them young adults that was out there the other night when them two girls got killed, some of it is affected, some of them was ready to go through the same thing that they just seen. So, and then the ones that are affected, my little cousin came up to me last night, he's 17 years old. He was like, man, really? He said, I'm still blew away from it. He said, you know, but then 5 minutes later, I'm gonna go get this Hellcat. So, how do we make them see that with that right there, because those two girls ain't coming back. You know what I'm saying? So he was messed up about it, but then 5 minutes later, he was talking about going to get a car.
Because this country teaches us it's a capitalistic country, and we are valued by our wealth. So if you have something of value in your mind, then people will embrace it differently. We treat people how we perceive them. So we invest in other people's perception of us, so they can treat us like we want to be treated. That's what it is. We jeopardize our life. And I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty as well. I've been here. We jeopardize our life trying to change other people's mind as it applies to us.
And this is what I always say to in the streets. Like I told him last night, and Fred can attest to it. I said, listen, you can go get that Hellcat all you want. Here's the streets. The streets gonna talk about you if you got it or if you ain't. You can't express us. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna be talking about if you got it or you don't. If you got it, you think you're more than something else. If you don't, look at that broke nigga. Let's just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? So my mind frame is, I love Charleston. I love Charleston, Missouri to my bones. Some people say why? Because this is where I was born and this is where I was raised at. I remember when we was growing up in the hood where you can leave My grandma used to fall asleep with a screen door open, unlocked. Didn't have to worry about that. Can't do it now. Can't do it now. No way. And so, a few of us in here contribute to the problem. I own that. But I'm trying to be, just like I was the problem, I'm trying to help be the solution. And that's all. That's it.
Pastor, could y'all jump in when we share this? Because everything that they're saying, I've learned that from the Bible. I've learned it from the Word of God. What you just said, the Bible, Jesus said, love will kill a multitude of sin. You also said that the streets is scared of the church and the church is scared of the streets. But Paul said, I became what they were to win the moment. And if the streets know something, you have to go to the elders. Because the elders probably can go to them and help it before it gets out of control. I knew these brothers was into it. You know what? I saw it on Facebook. And you know what I said when I came down here? I said, I'm not leaving until I get to them, because I don't want to see no more funeral. So I called him and said, man, come see me. And I went right over to his house. You know why? Because faith, and we see these things on Facebook and social media, and we laugh at it. Pastor Best probably not on social media. I don't know, probably ain't on Facebook. Pastor Sale probably not on Facebook. I am, because that's how I relate to people, because I got a young spirit. But I don't think neither one of them would mind if y'all know something going on, if y'all go and knock on their door and say, hey, this is an issue. You ain't snitching. You trying to save one another and save the community. And so I'm just proud of you, man, because you recognize that we are part of what has become of this city and these times and these people. I thank you for admitting that.
What brothers are saying right here, everybody that has spoken. The one thing that Charleston has a lack of, and it was built on it, people like Chad, Tommy, maybe Wayne you may understand. There was a time when Charleston had a reputation. Charleston had an entity inside of Charleston called BAD. This was before any of us was even born. And they said the stories that were told to me is somebody died every weekend in Badland. See, when you don't understand where you come from, you don't know why you are where you are. So you have to know what you have been, what you have become a part of. So I'm saying when you become a part of something like Tommy, like Taryn, when you come in and you see a certain amount of love, there's been a gap. If you're 50 years old and older in this room, you understood that there used to be a thing that these young men were saying when there was a mother and a father in a household, or there was just a mother in a household, and it might have been a man that was laying with a woman. But he took on the responsibility of those children that were not his. If you do not cut out the plank and identify the millennials and those who have some knowledge, and to say nothing is worse than doing nothing. You have to get up and stand up on what you have been taught. And I'm talking about the 50 and older. And say, wait a minute, our children are victims of their environment. And the reason why they're victims of their environment is because what they have seen us do or don't do. So if you stand back and you allow, see, I had a brother that died years ago. He told me, he said, man, I don't snitch, I tell. See, to tell something means that I'm willing to sacrifice my own life to save my community. And then they teach us in a capitalistic society and all these other entities that we walk in that education is the key. But you don't realize that you as a people have been indoctrinated into a situation that will lose you and make you lose your mind. Because capitalism and white supremacy is a real thing. And so you're chasing a paper dream. And you're doing all this stuff and you don't realize that you're sacrificing your children. If you can't leave, get out of the room. There's no room for no playing. Real men have to stand up and win. And they have to take responsibility.